Happy Easter to everybody out there. Happy Easter, Nate Bauer. We are recording this early Sunday morning. So, Nate, good morning. Hope you've had your coffee. And like I said, happy Easter. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you? What's going on?
Good. A very busy day. Obviously, we've got the breaking news right now. Going to be last minute doing my taxes this afternoon. So this is the most exciting thing that's going to happen today, especially for Penn State basketball fans. And no one really cares about what I've got going on today, given what I have going on today. So tell me, what happened in Penn State basketball?
Hang on. The most exciting thing, there's no chocolate Easter bunny. There's no good candy, anything
I don't
to
I don't have kids, and we can't have gluten in our house, so everything is very, very, very bare bones. We
well,
had
in that case,
we had French toast this morning. That's how we celebrated.
let me speed right by your dull
That's what I'm saying.
food.
Just move on from what my day's like, and let's get into the breaking news.
Penn State basketball got a commitment. It
All right.
happened. Ace Baldwin of VCU, he's been at VCU for the last 3 years, has committed to Mike Rhoades and Penn State. Which is huge. It's the first commitment. It's the first incoming, right?
Yes.
Like we've talked over the last few weeks about the outgoing guys who entered the transfer portal. Certainly, Penn State had a bunch of guys who just exhausted their eligibilities. So that was a huge kind of part of what the landscape looked like for Penn State. But yeah, this is a really big deal for Penn State to restart under Mike Rhoades, that building back up of the roster.
So this is where the rebuild starts, and why is Ace Baldwin important, and who is he?
Because he's the best player from not just VCU last season, not just under Mike Rhoades last season, but in the Atlantic 10. He was the conference player of the year. He was the conference defensive player of the year. So the thing that Mike Rhoades likes to do best, and the thing that he prioritizes, Penn State just added to its roster to kind of right. So if you're looking for any type of continuity, you weren't going to get it necessarily as a Penn State fan. You couldn't, right? The top 5 scorers from last season are all gone. They've graduated. They've moved on. So that type of continuity wasn't going to happen whether Micah Shrewsbury stayed or not.
Right.
But now it's not to say that Mike Rhoades is bringing over his whole team. He's not. But this is such a crucial piece of the puzzle to have your point guard and the guy that you believe in the most as kind of a foundational piece of what you're doing moving forward.
Just a quick side note, Kanye Clary still on the roster, I believe. I haven't checked recently. So how does that positional fit with Baldwin and Clary? How does that work, and can they make that work, Clary, if Clary wants to stay?
Yeah, great question. Honestly, I don't know. You would think, given the fact that Baldwin played 35 minutes a game last season, and he does kind of the same stuff as Kanye Clary, would create at least some decisions to be made, or some figuring out of how you're going to move forward, I guess, as a program, whether or not those two can play on the court at the same time. Because really, if you look at, and I'm not here to present myself as an expert on Ace Baldwin. I wasn't watching VCU games last year. I've seen a little bit of him play. Certainly I have a little bit of an understanding, but if you read anything about him, it's, hey, this guy is a true point guard. He distributes the basketball. He scores at the rim, right? I mean, he can shoot, but that's not, he's a driver. He gets the foul line all the time. For anybody, who watch Penn State's kind of stretch run, that should sound a lot like Kanye Clary, right?
Yep.
So there's a little bit of a duplication there that they'll have to sort out and figure out. But yeah, that's his game, right? He's a lefty, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But he defends. He does, like, the thing that really stood out to me, getting to have a grasp of like who and what he is that he does everything. He's right. There's no There's no specialization. He might not even lead Penn State in scoring next year based on what they did. Like he scored 12.7 points. He had 5.8 assists and 2.9 rebounds, but he gets steals. Like I said, he gets to the free throw line. He does shoot 3-pointers. He's not a great 3-point shooter, but he just does a little bit of everything. And the way that I have a quote to read just because I think it's really important in terms of contextualizing who he is. Mike Rhoades was asked about him going into their NCAA tournament game just this past March. Quote, he's the head of our snake. He's the competitive leader in our program. He's that type of point guard that he makes an impact. I've always said that from a long time ago, the best players, not because of their stat lines, are the ones that impact winning in so many ways. The greatest compliment you can get in a team sport is you make those around you better. That's Ace on a daily basis.
So
Like
this is
that,
the
that doesn't tell you
cornerstone
what
of his
he is. Yeah,
program.
exactly. Exactly. And so you get that idea, right? Of this isn't to sit here and say, oh, well, you know, Ace won't have a transition to make from the A10 to the Big Ten. He will, right? We'll have to see how that game translates. Jalen Pickett didn't translate right away.
Right.
So there are hurdles to overcome, but if you're Mike Rhoades and you want to start building a program at Penn State, this is exactly how you want to do it, by having a 4th-year guy. He has 2 years of eligibility left, who is appealing to play with for a lot of other guys.
So this is a very open question because they need a lot right now. But what's
Yeah.
next? So Ace Baldwin, you get your ace in the hole gag, please. Sorry.
Stop.
Somebody was gonna do it. I just had to be the one to do it. So what's next? Like, what do you think is priority number 2, 3, 4? I know all these things kind of have to happen simultaneously with the recruiting class and with transfers, but would you expect to see more transfers from VCU or other programs entering the Nittany Lions huddle for next year?
Yes. Right. It is priority number 1, and this gets lost, I think, for a lot of fans. Because you're looking at the portal, and as soon as somebody goes into the portal, you think to yourself automatically, oh, they're gone. That's not really the case. It simply opens the opportunity. Like some of those guys that are in the portal, Jameel Brown practiced the other day, right? He was with the team. He was with Penn State. So the notion that all of those guys are necessarily gone is false.
Okay.
So for the program, for Mike Rhoades and his staff, the top priority is to keep the guys that you got. You want to keep as many of those 1st-year guys. Keba Jai is still on the table. Evan Mahaffey is on the table.
I was going to ask you because I think when it jumped to mind of guys that would fit really well from what Mike Rhoades described of attacking, defense, and I know his defense wasn't great last year, but Evan Mahaffey has a lot of defensive potential. So
Sure.
are there guys that fit really well with what Mike Rhoades wants to do, and are there guys that don't fit well with what he wants to do that so how would you handicap those guys and their portal retention versus exit potential, if that's a fair way to put that?
Yeah, I mean, Mahaffey's perfect for what they do. That is going to be their primary selling point, is just saying, hey, Evan, this is watch the tape. Like we do what you do, and you would fit perfectly. You have a starting role, all of that stuff. Evan is a really a perfect fit that certainly they have been working on and will continue to work on to try to keep him at Penn State. They want to keep them all. That's the bottom line. Is you're trying to keep Kanye, you're trying to keep Jameel, you're trying to keep Demetrius Lilly and Keba Jai and Evan, all 5 of those guys. But obviously, even if they do keep all 5 of those guys, which, just being honest, like I don't think is likely to keep all of them, that you probably lose at least one of those guys. You're still going to have to go outside. You're still going to have to go out to the portal. And so it becomes this combination of, okay, yes, you want to keep as many of the guys that you can. You just brought in Ace Baldwin. How many realistically do you think you can poach from VCU or that want to come with you? 3? right? I mean, it's not going to be 7.
Yeah.
Right?
Probably
Like,
don't want
it's
it to
not
be 7. Like,
you
just
don't want it to be exactly.
in general, there's a lot of reasons
Exactly.
why.
So you're trying to find the right mix. But look, if the really important takeaway, I think, from this particular situation is Ace being first. Okay.
Yep.
He's on board. Once he's in, you can start to sell a vision of what you want to be. But before that, everybody's just kind of asking around, right? Like, you might get a lesser player who wants to come on board, and it doesn't really matter because he wants to play for Mike Rhoades and Penn State is where he wants to do it. That's fine, but that doesn't inspire.
Yeah.
That doesn't get anybody to coalesce and say, "Oh, well, I want to go because that guy's going."
Yeah.
Ace is that. Ace is I want to play with him. I think that this is here's the biggest guy in the A10 who had a bunch of opportunities to play elsewhere, making that leap of faith, right? And he did it first. So, yeah.
As always, the drama will continue with Penn State basketball, all kinds of things swirling around the program right now, and Nate Bauer has done an excellent job of being on top of all of it. So, BlueWhiteIllustrated.com to find out more information about Ace Baldwin, find out what else is going on, and of course, just general sports information. Maybe you also like football. Maybe you want more information about wrestling. We've got all of that covered. Recruiting, $29.99 from now to the start of football season. You get insider access. The more you wait, the less of a deal you're getting. So don't wait for another second. Sign up for BlueWhiteIllustrated.com. Of course, please like this video and subscribe here on our YouTube channel because we have breaking news. It seems like every day, Nate. There's something else going on, whether it's football, basketball, other news. We've had breaking NIL news this week. We've had all kinds of stuff here on the YouTube channel. It is well worth your time. It's literally free, and it takes the click of one finger to subscribe to Blue White Illustrated on YouTube. So I'll leave you to do that. Nate Bauer, thank you very much once again. Thanks for the time this morning. We'll be back on Monday with our recruiting show, and of course, if there's any more breaking news, we'll get that up as well. We will talk to you then.